Welcome to Babies from Beyond, the podcast that gives all babies a voice, whether they are still in spirit or already earthside. I'm Lauren Dionysius, a former registered NICU nurse turned baby soul communicator, and I'm here to share the wisdom of today's babies to guide you on your motherhood journey. So today let's dive into understanding timing and timelines. Let me ask you a question to start with. Do you believe that everything is pre-planned in spirit before we come to the earth? Or do you feel that there's nothing planned? We're just winging it every step of the way with no control over everything or no influence over anything? Or do you maybe sit somewhere in between? This is just to get you thinking about your own understanding of timing and timelines and what that means for you. So, like always, whenever I speak on these topics, it's always and only just coming from my own experience of the topics that I talk about. So, in my experience, there are some things that are pre-planned in spirit before we come to the earth. For example, babies choosing their parents. I don't think I've ever had it happen where a baby has chosen their parents and then unchosen them. To me, it just doesn't work that way. Also, other things that are often pre-planned in spirit is siblings. Usually, not always, but the majority of the time, souls will know who's coming to join them on the earth within their family. Also, other things that are pre-planned in spirit is, why are you here? You know, our souls do make that decision to come to the earth. So when that decision is made, there's, in my experience, always a purpose behind that. And that is, what are you coming to earth to learn? What is your baby or your children coming here to learn? And also, what are you coming to teach? And what are they coming to teach you and each other and other people? And while there are some things that are pre-planned, I also don't believe we come here to earth as little robots. I've come to realize and experience that there's actually a lot of flexibility in the timing of how everything plays out, even those things that have been pre-planned. So this is where having an understanding of timelines and timing can really shift everything for you. So next I want to explain what I've come to understand around time. We have time on Earth, which feels like one energy, if you like, and we also have time in spirit, which to me feels completely different. So I've come to understand that essentially time works very differently here on the earth than it does in the spirit world. Because here on earth, we have a time lag. It takes time, right, for things to manifest in our 3D reality. We can't just think of something and instantly make it happen. There is a delay, and that is due to the density of the earth, but also that it's about shifting something from energy into form or matter, which is that 3D world. Also, timing here on earth is really precise. We have managed to fragment our entire day, week, month, year, decade, century into pinpoint moments where we can pinpoint, Tuesday, the 28th of May at 10:02 a.m. and 3 seconds. We can make timing so precise. It's also, time here on Earth is chronological. It's linear, which means it goes from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, all in a line. And because of this, it's something that we plan. We do need to have a degree of planning in our life, right? Otherwise, we'd never get anything done. So if we go back in time to the ancient Greeks, they had a really good explanation for this. So they called Earth time Chronos time. And this is those down to the millisecond moments in time that I was mentioning. So as an example of this, it may be, I want to have a baby before I'm 40. That's putting energy into or identifying a very specific moment in time before you're 40. Another way this can play out in the baby realms is due dates. So my baby is due on the 8th of April, for example. It's very specific, but there's also a downside for this because we are always focusing on time, because let's face it, our life revolves around what the clock is telling us. Appointments, our work hours, bedtime, what time we get up in the morning, our schedules, where we meet people. Time here on Earth, or that Chronos time, literally runs our entire life. But then there's the other time, what I call spirit time, or what the ancient Greeks would call Kairos time. So time in spirit is so different to here on Earth, because instead of being a specific pre-planned time like 9 a.m. on Tuesday the 9th of June, it's spirit time. So it's more the moment of alignment. It's when the energy is just right. It's not something that's necessarily predictable or pre-planned, but it's about alignment. It's that moment when it feels like everything just falls into place without effort, without planning. And it's more about divine timing rather than the timing of our calendar. It's something that we can't, or we don't consciously plan or predict. Think of those spontaneous situations where you catch yourself thinking, wow, I couldn't have planned that if I tried. That could be a new opportunity or connection. It may seem like really super random because it wasn't something that was in our calendar, but in Kairos time or spirit time, it's much more opportunistic. And the really interesting thing is, when it comes back to living here on Earth and also having a connection to spirit, is that Chronos or Earth time and Kairos or spirit time, they run together. The Chronos time ticks along logically, whereas the Kairos time weaves in and out of the Chronos time or Earth time. Sometimes it slows things down, sometimes it speeds things up. When we have these moments where, say, you're a writer or an artist and you get lost in time, and before you know it, 2 hours has gone by. You haven't been sitting there watching the minutes ticking by, but it's like something happens to time and that it's been stretched or manipulated in some way. And that's often where the Kairos time and the Chronos time can start to dance with each other. So let's bring this into the motherhood journey then. So when we have so much emphasis on Chronos time or Earth time, it can create a lot of pressure around the right time or the right timing or the right time or the wrong timing. So this is especially true around conception, but also the unfolding of the birth portal too, which I do want to talk about birth more in a future episode, but I'll just touch on it in this episode. And because we are so influenced by Chronos time or Earth time, we start to believe that there is a right time for a baby to come or be conceived or be birthed. And with that comes expectations. An expectation to what's right or what's wrong, And if it doesn't play out like that, it's right. Or if it hasn't happened by then, it's wrong. Like, now is the right time for my baby to come. I should have conceived by now. If it hasn't happened, it means something is wrong. And all of these phrases are coming from that energy of Chronos time or earth time. But in spirit, remembering that babies are coming to the earth from the spirit realms, they are making that transition or taking that leap to come from a space that runs on Kairos time or spirit time to Chronos time or earth time. It becomes much more fluid and much more unpredictable when we can start to see time in that way, which is essentially their perspective. So now that we've talked about time, I want to talk more now around timelines. This means that we're taking these ideas of Chronos or earth time and Kairos or spirit time a little bit deeper, because timelines allow us to see a little more clearly the dance between the two, the dance between earth and spirit. After doing this work for quite a few years now, I've learnt that things are so much more fluid and changeable in spirit than what we might think. Here on earth, we're quite structured with our time, whereas it's not that way in spirit. In spirit, it's much more about energy, whereas here on earth, it's about our calendar. So women will often ask me about the timing of things on their journey. It may be conception or pregnancy or birth. And when they ask me around these things, I tune into the timelines that are available to them. So timelines, though, are not fixed. I see timelines as possibilities for the future or opportunities for things to happen or not happen, but I don't see them as fixed outcomes, and this is what's definitely going to happen. So that's why I feel that it's not possible to predict the future with 100% accuracy, because we don't know from where we are now which timelines are going to play out for certain in the future. And the way I see it is I see timelines as trees. So imagine that you are the trunk of that tree, and then above your head, you have all of these different branches. And when we look at a tree, some of these branches are thick and really long. Other branches may be a bit shorter or thinner. So that's the way I see timelines. And the same with children as well. Children have their own timelines. They have their own tree with their own branches. And then what I find influences these timelines or these branches is your thoughts, your emotions, your energy, your decisions, your actions, the interplay or the interaction or the overlap between other people's trees and your trees. And all of these things will change and shift the timelines. Some of these branches, if you make a decision, for example, and then take action on that decision, that may collapse a timeline over here, and it may open up another timeline over here, or a timeline that was really thin, a thin tree branch representing a timeline that was less likely, may become thicker or more likely because of a decision that you have made. And vice versa, if there is a thick timeline or a thick branch. And generally the way I see it is when I tune into timelines, there's usually one or sometimes two thick branches, and then several other branches that smaller than that, thinner than that. And so it can show me what's most likely on the timeline or the trajectory that you're on right now. But tomorrow you could go and do something or make a decision that can make that thicker, more most likely timeline thinner. And by doing that, you have created another timeline or made another timeline that was already there another possibility even stronger. So the way I see timelines is I see them as possibilities. I see them as opportunities, kind of like those old choose your own adventure books. I don't know if they still have them anymore, but where you would read something and it would be, want to do this, go to chapter X, or want to go here, turn to page whatever. So I don't know if they still have those, but that's what timelines feel like to me. So if we bring timelines back to conception, because this is the most question that women ask when it comes to timing and timelines, is when will my baby conceive, or when is my baby coming? So I can tune into that woman and her timelines, and also the baby and their timelines, and see what branches are there, see what's going on in their tree. So when I do that, I'll often see not only thicker and thinner branches, but I'll see longer branches, which may indicate a more successful pregnancy and a higher likelihood of bringing a baby, or that particular baby, to the earth. But sometimes the branches may be short, and that can indicate that a pregnancy doesn't continue due to loss, miscarriage, ectopic, termination, all of these things. So when we can get an idea or a sense of the timelines that are available to us, it actually gives us more freedom to direct our energy. If there is a timeline available to you that is really strong, then, and it's something you don't want, then you do have the opportunity to change that. It depends on the bigger picture, obviously, around your purpose and what your soul's here to learn. Sometimes we can't change our timelines if they are part of our, I don't really like the word destiny, but I'll go with that because that's what's popping into my mind. There are things we can't change if that's what we came here to experience. But for the majority of situations, we can and do influence our own timelines on a daily basis. You can choose to focus more on where you want to go, or you can choose to focus less on a fear or a doubt, which may be creating a timeline that you don't want or that isn't going to serve you. So that's why, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again, that's why predictions aren't accurate. Sometimes that main thick tree branch will be the one that plays out, and it may come to fruition. But it's just not set in stone. It's simply a snapshot of the most likely timelines in any given moment. I see this all the time where timelines do shift and change, and they can change constantly. Some dissolve, some new ones can form, just depending on what's happening within you and around you. So we can also apply this then to a baby's timeline as well, remembering that they also have their own journey. They have their own tree with their own branches that support their own needs or the decisions that they have made or will make in the future. Some babies are waiting for that right moment where they need, remembering that babies in spirit are working on Kairos time and spirit time. So they're waiting for the opportunity. They're waiting for the right moment. And sometimes that can be a particular set of circumstances that need to align. And some are still deciding if Earth is the right experience for them right now. So when we work with conception timelines, it's not just your timeline at play or your tree that we need to look at. It's also your baby's. It's their timelines and their tree as well. So just to recap today's episode, I just want to emphasize that time is different. It's different on Earth than it is in spirit. Kairos time, which is spirit time, doesn't always align with Chronos time or Earth time, and that timelines available to us are flexible and shifting. They're not fixed. They're not set in stone. The journey around timing then is you and your baby souls navigating the timelines together between spirit and the earth. So taking this information then out into your life, it's like, how can you lean a little bit more into the magic and the mystery and the unknown of Kairos time? Can you allow yourself to consider that maybe you don't actually know the best timing of things? Because remember, Kairos time is it's soul time. It's time without time. It's deep time. It's energy time. It's not chronological or linear like it is here on Earth. Thank you for tuning in to Babies from Beyond. If you've enjoyed this episode, I'd love for you to leave me a review just wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, head over to Instagram and give me a follow at Born Energy, and check out the show notes for more ways that you can connect with your baby's soul, including one-on-one readings and online programs to support you. Until next time, trust your journey and your baby. Take care.